Some legends are just campfire stories, but others are carved into the landscape itself, like a permanent warning sign for anyone who dares to pass through. So today, let's take a drive down a very lonely road in Nepal and uncover the story of the Murkata, a creature born from a real tragedy and a warning that's written in blood. Just picture this for a second. This is the very last thing you see. A figure slowly materializes out of the fog, and it's holding its own severed head. Yeah, this isn't just some monster, it's a curse. So the real question is, what is this thing, and how in the world do you survive an encounter with it? Okay, so to really understand this creature, we first have to wrap our heads around the simple, but absolutely brutal rules that govern its hunt. It's a curse that preys on one of our most basic human instincts. Right, so in Nepal, this thing has a name, the Murkata, a headless entity, basically a vengeful spirit that's doomed to walk the earth. And this thing, it doesn't sprint after you, it's not screaming bloody murder, it just follows, patiently, waiting for you to make one single fatal mistake. And this is the mistake. It's such a simple, terrifying trap. It doesn't matter what you hear behind you. Footsteps, whispers, maybe the sound of something literally dragging itself out of the ground. If you turn around just for a second, your soul is gone. Forfeit.
Look, knowing the rules is one thing, right? But to really feel that cold dread, we got to put ourselves in the shoes of someone who actually faced it. This is the story of a man named Ranjan and how his totally normal drive home turned into a fight for his very soul. So here's the setup. Ranjan's on his way home to Kathmandu. The drive takes him over this one spot that locals whisper about, the Black Bridge. You know how it is, his wife, Neha, gave him this super clear warning. Whatever you do, do not stop near that bridge. But when you're tired on a long, dark road, those warnings can kind of just fade into the background, can't they? So there's Ranjan cutting through this pea soup fog on the bridge, and bam! A figure just pops up in his headlights. An old man, standing smack in the middle of the road. Ranjan's probably annoyed, right? But he has no choice. He has to do the one thing he was explicitly told not to. He stops the car.
But see, this old guy, he wasn't just some random person blocking the road. Turns out, he was about to hand Ranjan the only shot he had at making it through the night alive. So Ranjan gets out, probably ready to give him a piece of his mind. But the old man, he doesn't care about the car. He just looks Ranjan dead in the eye and gives him this command: don't look back. He knew exactly what was lurking out there in that fog. And then it gets weirder. He gives Ranjan this very specific set of instructions. First, he repeats the warning. Then, he pulls out these old Nepali coins marked with red sindoor powder, like a protective charm. And finally, he gives him this last, super cryptic instruction. Whatever you do, do not lose these coins, not today. And before Ranjan can even ask what he's talking about, the old man just melts back into the mist. So Ranjan is, completely weirded out by this whole thing, but he just wants to get home. He shoves the coins in his pocket and drives off, probably just writing it off as some strange roadside encounter. Big mistake. The real horror was just getting started. So he's driving miles later near what's left of the old Darhahara Tower when his car just gives up, sputters, engine overheats, and dies. And just like that, he's totally stranded. No cell signal, no lights, nothing but the creepy ruins of this collapsed tower and this heavy, unnatural silence.
All right, what do? Ranjan decides to walk, right? Hoping to find help. But as he's moving through this thick fog, he gets that feeling. You know the one. That prickly sensation on the back of your neck. Then he could hear it. Faint footsteps on the dirt, perfectly in sync with his own.
And you know what happens next. You tell yourself not to, but you can't help it. He whips his head around. Nothing. Just an empty road and fog. But as soon as he starts walking again, the footsteps are back. Maybe a little closer this time, step for step. He speeds up. They speed up. He stops. They stop. The old man's warning is probably screaming in his head now. Don't look back.
But pure absolute terror, it just overrules everything. He hears this weird gurgling whisper right behind his ear, and that's it. He breaks the rule. He spins around. And this time, it wasn't just fog. The ground itself started to move. And then this rotten black hand just bursts from the soil, clawing its way out. And then the rest of it just lurches out of this makeshift grave. There was no head on its shoulders. Instead, it was clutching its own severed head in its hand. And the eyes, oh man, the eyes weren't in the head. They were stuck in its chest, just staring, unblinking, right at him.
Ranjan lets out this scream, and then, boom, everything just goes black. He looked back. He broke the one rule. I mean, that should be it, right? Game over. But this story isn't quite over yet.
Meanwhile, his wife Neha is freaking out. She knows something's wrong, so she drives out looking for him. She finds the car, and then a little ways down the road, she finds him. He's just lying on the ground. His body is cold. His eyes are half open, staring at nothing. His breathing, it's stopped. As far as she's concerned, her husband is dead.
And just as she's collapsing in grief, that same old man shows up again. He explains the loophole. See, here's the trick to the curse. The Murkata isn't that smart. If it sees you lying on the ground, it just assumes you're already dead and moves on. Those coins he gave Ranjan, they weren't just for good luck. The moment the creature got close, the magic in the coins pulled Ranjan's life force into them, causing him to collapse. To the spirit, he looked dead, but his soul was actually safe and sound inside the coins. So the old man finally lays it all out for her. The Murkata was an ancient spirit that had been trapped under the Darhar Tower. And get this, the story says it was released during the massive 2015 earthquake. That's not just some random plot point. It ties this supernatural horror to a very real, very traumatic event for the whole country. This thing, it only hunts once a night. And the old man? He wasn't a man at all, but a rakshak, a guardian spirit, watching over that haunted road. So Ranjan's personal nightmare had an ending, but the legend itself? Oh, it's far from over. From the busy streets of Kathmandu to the tiniest villages, the fear of the Murkata is a real, living part of the culture. And what this story really gets at is a fear we all understand. That terrifying feeling of being followed, that primal urge to look behind you. The Murkata legend takes that simple human instinct and turns it into a weapon. So that just leaves one last really uncomfortable question. Put yourself on that road. It's you. You're all alone, your car is dead, and you hear it. Step, 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 right behind you. You feel that presence breathing down your neck. With everything you now know, could you honestly stop yourself from turning around? Would you look back?